break, Prof, you had it on your tongue to say something.
Look, I don't agree with Alice that devolution has not made a difference to a common person. I think it has made a big difference in terms of service delivery. If you look at sectors like health, counties are in charge of health up to the referral hospital. And it's not the same in all counties, but I think a study is coming out very soon which shows how devolution is working and comparing counties in various aspects of service delivery. And it's very clear that it's not the same everywhere, and that depends on a lot of things. But the end result is that services have been being delivered in things like health and access roads, by the way, and ECD much better than before. I know, for example, in my county, if I look at the number of ECDs we have built, just this, my term alone, and the services were delivered, the pay to the ECD teachers, and they are being formally contracted and so on, there's a much better improvement than before. But I go back a little when I was Minister for Planning and National Development, and we introduced the CDF, which was only 2.5% of the budget. Within no time, the CDF made a lot of difference in the health sector and in education, a big difference. And that is what led us to believe that when we have devolution, a much bigger fraction of the budget should go to the devolved unit in terms of service delivery. That is why it went to, we wanted much more than 15%. We wanted much more than 15%. In fact, if you look at Sweden and Norway and Nigeria, in Norway 75% of the budget goes to the devolved units, you see. But you have to start somewhere. Now, that having been said, facts are there. And they speak for themselves. They are not the same in all counties. Maybe Muranga is badly off, I do not know. But I think when the study comes out, it will show exactly how Muranga is performing in terms of service delivery. It will be published soon in the papers. And finally, I think even the idea of regional government, or the third tier, as we call it, I don't want to call it regional government because the debate is still going on. I make an argument for that third tier because of the reality. What is emerging in the economic bloc shows that something like that is necessary. How it is to be implemented, either in the way that Manyara is talking about, what we had conceived in Bomas of 12, 14 or 17 regions, or something else given the experience of the counties. We should not be dogmatic. But to throw it away that is going to cost more when we have not actually costed it, it's an assumption we are making. And I'm sorry for this assumption is a big word. I mean, it is an assumption we are making that's going to cost more. We don't know. Because at the moment, if I was to ask you exactly how much should be put in devolved units today for them to perform their functions according to Schedule 4 of the Constitution, you will come out very clearly that what's being put in the counties is far much less than what should be put given Schedule 4 of the Constitution.
Thank you.
That's quite clear.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Richard, let's be winding up on that, then we gravitate to other issues.
Thank you. Dibal, my issue is that I think for me, what has been viable under devolution, the truth is devolution was actually a godsend for the simple reason that in Africa resources are always distributed by whoever that is in power, and normally they are skewed, normally they are biased towards a certain direction. To me, the second issue that comes up, which is so automatic, is that the reason why many people are actually very excited about this BBI issue is not really even about many of the things which we are trying to make controversial. People are very excited that more money is going to be given to the county governments. Now, if that money is going to be given to the county governments, the question then becomes, I think Madam Alice has raised the issue, and this is what we are discussing right now. Do you then collapse the counties as you are adding the more money? Which units, as you create the third tier, where is this money going to go? Are you going to create sub-county or, some county or some third tier arrangements within that structure? How is that money going to be distributed? There are counties, there are areas right now, I'll give an example like Kuria, who are saying, because they feel that by them being from a small community and they were actually allowed to come in as a county where they have merged with Migori, the majority of the community in Migori is Luo. The Kurias are saying we would like to have our own county. There are other areas also which have such cases. Is that viable? all right? And like Madam Aliza said, if you tell Kenyans we are now going to actually collapse the counties, there must be clarity. Are you collapsing these counties so that we go back to how we used to be? And then what is going to happen? This is uncertainty, and I think we need to have clarity there. My third point, money is being centralized at the national government. Functions have been devolved to the county governments. The reason why there has been this failure, quote unquote, of the county governments have been failing for reasons which are political and other issues is very simple. Money has never been enough. There has been misappropriation and misuse of this money. Through BBI, presumably, we are going to have a change in our structure. Look at Chapter 6, which basically got watered down, and in fact, what has just happened to Governor Waititu is shocking to Kenyans. They actually didn't believe that somebody who has been found to be culpable, presumably, or is guilty, could actually be removed from office. This is a totally new development, and I believe this could only be done because of the discussions taking place about the BBI. This is only could be possible because of the agreement which has been, and remember, after the handshake, and this is why many Kenyans are actually excited about this thing, after the handshake debacle, you have had the issue of corruption coming up to the front burner, and of course there has been the narrative where some people feel this corruption is targeted to certain individuals, but that is normal in Kenya. Let us continue discussing it, but something is being done about it. If you notice, close to, for the last 6 months, you haven't seen a major scandal coming to the paper. There was a time when every Monday there was a scandal about money being stolen, which means there's deterrence. People have realized that this story of fighting corruption may not necessarily be a political game. That in fact, there's something that is going on, and Kenyans expect better. So to me, even when we are trying to give BBI a bad name, and we are trying to come up and say, oh, you know, these issues, and finally, what has been happening? Like I think my senior here, Farah Maalima, said, we have had 3 elections which have been having problems. For us not to do anything about it, it means we are either stupid or we are completely inept as a people.
Thank you.
And I think we must face everything on the table.
Fair enough.
Why is the IBC failing? Why have our elections not been believable? Why is it that, and another issue that came up in Kitui, which was really good. People are saying, let us devolve IBC. Yes. Take it to the counties. So that when there are issues on the ground, because every area has got its own challenges, let us standardize the law, let us make sure that we have these issues, let us make sure that IBC is believable, is acceptable for the local elections. For the national elections, leave it in Nairobi.
Thank you. How about Onyonka?
Now, when you talk about regional government, I think there are 3 things you can isolate about it. 1 is the politics. 2 is the cost. 3 would be the substance of the reality or the truth about it. The politics began way back when we started this process, is that you are trying to create majimbo, you'll have powerful people. It is said, I don't know if it was true or not, maybe Onyonka is a political scientist who will tell us, it is said that when you had the initial regional governments, at some point, is it Moi or one of the regional kingpins, put a flag on his limousine, and people told Kenyatta, mambo imeharibika. So there are people, that's the politics of it. Right now, there are people who feel that will affect the presidency. There are people who want the presidency to remain powerful for their own interest. They think they will have it. That is the politics. The reality, before we go to the cost, the bar, and the truth is that there can be no debate as to whether the regional government will be better or not. Because compared to these 47 counties, surely, even international best practice, Nigeria, whatever you're talking about, there cannot be that many. They are simply not viable politically and economically. And that's not something you can argue with. Now the cost. If you want to know the cost, go to Kisumu and look at Governor Nyong's budget. I'm a member of the something called CBF, County Budget and Economic Forum, for my county, Vihiga. The amount of money allocated to the office of Governor of Kisumu is, what is it really? It's nothing. It's what you might want to call a management fee. The governor's office doesn't have capital expenditure. It doesn't have projects. It just management money just to allow for the normal administration. It receives the least budget. Actually, you can't even talk of a budget for the governor's office. So then you are saying, if you have a region and you have the office of governor, it will still not make any difference in terms of cost. It will just be that management fee that is standard everywhere in the world. And the projects, you see, we used to have districts, and we used to say recruit 30 cadet officers, for example, from Kisii, the larger Kisii. When we subdivided and had this Kibaki districts, Kisii still got 30, only that there was distributed. You know, what are we talking about cost? The same money that goes, as Onyonka said, resources or money follows functions. It will still apply, and it should apply in the manner in which it hasn't applied so far. When that happens, you cannot be talking of extra cost for the regional governments. No, the cost is not an issue. Whether or not is the right thing to do is not an issue.
Right.
What then we have to deal with is only the politics.